I thought when they showed Trump from the back watching launch, his head and neck looked too skinny. Yeah, even from the front, that one is really a bad one. But I think a bad double. But I think it was purposeful because I think that the American people have to begin to think again. We have to. There's been so many experts, people in agencies and departments, whether it's health or it's science or it's technology or it's CDC, always telling us, and we've been just this just so, oh, well, that's what the media said. Oh, they said it was an expert. Oh, it's Tony Fauci. Whatever he says is right. And everything they did in 2020 was wrong. And still to this day, the people with the highest education can't see that. Because if the higher educated you are, the more indoctrinated you've been. It's just the way it is. Or you're somebody that doesn't pay attention, which I think is the point to why Don Jr. was showing this with, panning over to the fake Trump. And yet there's people, like I was thinking about it last night because somebody had said on my YouTube channel, you're going to panic people. No, it's time. It's up to us to wake up, and that means we have to think. We have to do our own thinking. And no longer should it be crazy to people that you say something like, is that really that person? That doesn't, because most people would look at my video where I'm saying, no, that's not Trump, and they'd say, oh, whack job. No, that's the way most Americans should be, because it's clearly obvious the media lies, all of them. Or they mix some truth in with a whole bunch of lies, or they do a whole bunch of lying by omission. And we have gotten too complacent. I mean, the Trump family put everything on the line, so they need the American people to do their own thinking. You can't expect to live in a free country without. You should always be asking questions, right? And yet this isn't a big stretch. I know people that are awake have seen that video that's gone around, and this is going all the way back to Bush Sr.'s presidency, where CIA person put on a mask of somebody else and then went into a meeting with George Bush Sr. and some others, and he was wondering where this woman was. Well, she was under this mask of somebody else. And they videoed it, and at the end, she took the mask off, and he was like, I had no idea, how can, it's that good. It was that good that he had no idea. And think about how long ago that was, and think about how good it is today now. So it's up to the American people to stay diligent, because they should have never been able to get away with the crap they pulled in 2020. But the American people had been so dumbed down and not taught to really just think for themselves that people decided, no, I must stay in my house and be afraid because of the air. And yeah, there was a virus. I'm a nurse. I don't remember seeing flu during 2020 at all, because everything was COVID. Everything was COVID to a ridiculous degree, and to this day, none of the experts in nursing and health get honest about it. They don't want to see. Again, they've been the most indoctrinated. The more letters you have after your name, the more indoctrinated you are. But I think that most of the country realizes that if you want to keep your freedoms, you're going to have to ask these questions and not care what other people think, because you can't just trust everything you're told. And so this is a good way to stop and really be observant of things. Is this really Donald Trump? And it's not to scare people. He's securely taken care of, but it's, you can't use the excuse, well, no, you have to keep the fake and phony going. I shouldn't have to think about it because I'm going to panic people. No, you shouldn't panic if you're thinking for yourself. Benjamin Franklin, I forget the exact quote, but he said it, that, every time you exchange, I want safety and security, then you have to give up freedom for it. And we've given up enough freedom, and it's our own fault in many ways. So if you want, I mean, and the Trumps have come in and are willing to get rid of, we don't even know what it's like to live under the original Constitution. We don't. We would have no idea. I try to sit back and think about it, and I can't even envision it. But it's not, what we live under now is just bureaucracy, socialist regulations, and garbage. So if for nothing else, if you're somebody that supports Donald Trump, you should want to be able to think for yourself. Because that's what you have to do if you want to make sure that your country doesn't fall into the hands of globalists again. Everybody's just been made so dumbed down that it's like, this is an expert. I'm told this is an expert, so I'm just going to believe it. They say I should stay in my house. None of that made any sense. None of it did. And it's been even, I mean, Anthony Fauci is somebody that needs to go to jail and will. Because, well, for one, all of the lying he did under oath to Congress. And he knew people shouldn't be wearing masks. He wrote about it back in the day. It's one thing if a nurse or somebody in the medical field is around somebody contagious, but he had written about how people shouldn't just walk around in masks. It's unhealthy. You're breathing all your own, like, toxins back in, and yeah, it's horrible. But it wasn't just that. It went to masks and this standing. I mean, the whole standing where they wanted you to stand was all to see how much control they could have over you. And that's what it was all about. And you know what? What they showed is that the American people really, over the years, has totally forgotten what freedom is. All you have to do is tell the American people they have freedom, and they'll believe it, even though we don't. The amount of red tape we live under, amount of regulatory, amount of taxes, amount of bullshit. I mean, one agency after another, whether it's in the private sector or all of it, it's ridiculous. The administrative state, which thank God that's being eliminated. But we don't know what it's like to live under the Constitution. But in order for us to maintain under the Constitution, it means the American people have to not worry about what other people think, and you have to ask the questions like, is that really the president? Because in this world, especially today, especially with AI, you better be willing to ask those questions and not be as lazy to just say, well, the media will tell me the truth, because clearly they don't. And they haven't for a long time. So I would imagine that if I was the Trumps, I wouldn't want to just go through all this nightmare for the American people to still stay in the place of, I'm not going to do my own thinking. Now, there's lazy people that will just, and there's the indoctrinated, higher educated that, there's a few of them that can see, but not many. And there's not a lot you can do about that. But for the people that can, you can't fall back into the old ways of the news is going to tell me the truth, the politicians are going to tell me the truth, the experts are going to tell me the truth. No, it's the experts, it's the science, it's the technology that has taken more freedoms away. And is there a place for science? Well, clearly. But they've gotten all these genome labs, they need to be shut down, funding needs to stop to them. If they want to go to Wuhan and do their genome labs, then they can move there. Nobody needs to have their data this much. I mean, these people have gotten far too much of our data, and it's just out of control. So in order for us to stop it, we have to be willing to ask questions. Like what you said, this doesn't look like him. Even though most of the world would say that person's crazy, no, you're actually the sane one. The people that are willing to ask the questions are the sane ones. Whether it seems crazy to everybody else or not, well, they just want to stay under the veil and stay mindless. And as long as they're going to stay mindless, then they might as well take Elon Musk's chip in their brain. No, hopefully not. But more people are seeing it. That's what needs to happen. That's what will keep America free, is Americans that think. for themselves.